Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is very exciting because I am doing a huge book haul. I did one of these back in August because I randomly won some settlement money and felt like treating myself. And this occasion for the book haul is that I moved, and as you can see, I have some empty space on my bookshelves now. So I got some books from Better World Books, who I love buying books from. Both Better World Books and Thrift Books are awesome because you can get really great quality books but not pay as much money. And yeah, typically even though they're used, they don't come in rough shape. And then I also got some books from my library's used book sale section, which is amazing. The hardcovers there are only $3 and the paperbacks are only $2. And then I have a couple books that I bought new. So we're gonna go through all these books. I have boxes behind me. I haven't even opened them yet, so we're gonna unbox them together. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more videos from me. If you have any fun video ideas, leave them down below for me. And without further ado, let's get into the book haul. Before we unbox the books, let's go through, we'll do the books I ordered that are brand new, and then I'll go through the books I got from the library the other day. So the first book that I got was Happy Place. So this book haul is going to be a combination of books I've already read that I want to have on my shelf. This shelf behind me, if you didn't see my bookshelf organizing video, is my favorites shelf, and you can't really see, but up there are like my top tier books. Happy Place is one of those. I want to have Emily Henry's full collection in paperback, so we're waiting for Great Big Beautiful Life to come out in paperback to add that one. But after this haul, I think I will have all of them, except for I need to get Funny Story. Anyway, been considering a reread of Happy Place because I really enjoyed it when I read it, and I think it would just be fun to read my own copy, maybe annotate it. So we got Happy Place. I couldn't find that one on Better World Books. And then we also got Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is one of my favorite books ever. And I got this because recently she came out with a couple sprayed edges special edition copies, and I think this might be the Target one, but the Barnes & Noble one is also really beautiful. It's like the same but like blue. I'm so excited to own a copy of this. I would love to reread this one as well, but it's fun to have copies of books that I love because then I can loan them out to my friends. That's why I love owning books. It's so fun to be able to share with my friends. So those are the new books I got. Now this stack I got at my library the other day. All of these books for only $12. So the first one is The First Ladies. This is by the same authors that wrote The Personal Librarian, which I haven't read but is on my TBR, and it's a historical fiction book about Eleanor Roosevelt and this woman named Mary, and it takes place during FDR's presidency. And I love historical fiction, was intrigued by the premise of this one, and I'm really excited to read this one. The next one I got was The Island of Missing Trees, and I've heard really great things about this author's writing, and also this cover looks beautiful and it's in such perfect shape, and it was only $2. To be honest, I have no idea what it's about. I literally have no idea what it's about, but definitely judging a book by its cover here. And also I've heard good things about this author. So the next book, which I'm so excited, I feel like this was like a gold mine find because this was another book I wasn't able to get in my Better World Books haul, and I haven't read this Kristen Hanna book, and I love the Kristen Hanna books I've read so far. So this is The Great Alone. It's a historical fiction about a family in Alaska, and I've heard this is one of her best, and Nightingale is my favorite that I've read from her. But now I own 4 Kristen Hanna books, I think, so I'm excited to read this one and the other one of hers I haven't read and get them all on my shelves next to each other. But I'm so excited that I found this one there. Then I got Sandwich, which is a book that I had on my list for my summer TBR last year. This one is set in Maine. It's a pretty short book. I think it's about like a woman having a midlife crisis, which I don't know necessarily how I feel, but I think the vibes of this book will be really good, and it'll be fun to read like by the lake on the beach or something. Just a very summery book. And then this is a book I had never heard of, but when I walked into the library, it was on like the staff recommended area, and then I was looking at the summary. It looks kind of like one of those books about like a lit fiction book with a very like deep setting. Like the setting is really important to the book. It seems like an interesting just like lit fiction book, and I loved the cover. And again, only $3. So I gotta remember to check that section of the library out every time I go to visit, because I've gotten some really good books there, and they typically only take books that are in good condition and are newer published, and the money goes back to the library. So I love shopping there. Now we get to do the exciting thing, which is unbox my books that I've ordered. There is one book that didn't make it in time. It's like, I don't know, it's stuck in the mail somewhere. I don't know how long it's gonna take, so I didn't want to delay filming this video for that, but that's Beach Read by Emily Henry, to add to my Emily Henry collection, but you guys all know about Beach Read, so I don't need to talk about it, but excited to reread that one as well. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I also ordered a couple books from Pango Books, which I've never done before. I should try to sell books on Pango Books because it's kind of like eBay for books. Like you can sell your own books on there, and I finished a book last weekend called Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and I loved it so much. I was taking pictures of quotes in the book. I got out of the library and I wanted to have a copy so I could go back through and underline stuff. So that's what I went hunting for in Pango Books. Let me get this open. So typically I wouldn't love to have like a book of the month copy, but what I do have is one of her other books from Book of the Month, so they will go nicely together. I haven't read this one yet, and since I've read this one, I really want to pick up this one, but this one's very fall vibe, so I'm saving it. I bought this one so that I could have my copy and annotate it and loan it out to people. It was amazing. It was so good. So anyway, that's why I decided to buy it on Pango Books, because I could get it used. It was only like $10, and then she was doing like some sort of coupon deal, and so I got this one. It was only $2 because it had been on my list. It's like a Regency era romance. I think it'll be kind of fun and silly. I bet you that my coworker Charlotte is gonna love this book, so I will loan that one out to her as well. Those are the two books I got from Pango Books. Then my Better World Books order came in 4 packages. I don't remember what went in each one. The first book is Beaverland. I see this on the table at Barnes & Noble every time I go, and a couple months ago I had like an Audible credit and I was canceling my subscription, so I had to like use it, and I was like, okay, let me use it on a nonfiction book I'm interested in reading, and I used it on this, and I haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, and I felt like if I bought it, it would give me more of an excuse to read it. So this is so interesting because I thought on the website it said that this was a library copy, but it's clearly not. It's in like beautiful shape. I feel like it's kind of obvious, but this is a nonfiction book about beavers. It seems pretty interesting. One more singular package. Inside of this is like sticky. The next book I got was Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman. This almost completes my Frederick Bachman collection. When it comes wintertime, I'm gonna get Beartown so I can read those, but I just recently read Anxious People and loved it so much, and I really enjoyed A Man Called Uwe when I read that one, so I'm wanting to read all of Frederick Bachman's books. So I have this one, I've got this one on my shelf, and I've already read A Man Called Uwe. I also own Anxious People, so I'm excited to also have a little Frederick Bachman section of my bookshelf, but I just love his writing and the way that he builds characters in his story, so I'm going to be shocked if I don't love this one. All right, the most exciting is the box. This is gonna be fun for all of us because I only have vague memories of what I ordered. I was building my cart for like a week, and if you know anything about buying like used books, typically like there are only a few available of each one, so some of them would go out of my cart and then I would put new ones back in, so I don't really remember what I ended up with, but we'll find out together. Wow, so exciting. Man, they smushed a lot of books in here. Okay, the first one is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This is on my TBR this year. It looks like this was a student's copy. It looks like there's notes on the first page and that's as far as they got. And then they drew this really cool drawing in the back. Lots of character to this book, but I want to read this one because I really want to read James. It's winning all sorts of awards. If you don't know, that's like a retelling of Huck Finn from one of the characters' perspectives. Yeah, I never read this one in school, so I figured that having it would motivate me to read it. Next, I got Clara and the Sun. This is one of my favorite books ever. So it's showing up really orange on camera, but it's red. And I've been wanting to reread this one. I love Kazuo Ishiguro's writing. And actually, the next book I will show you is I got The Remains of the Day. This is different than the cover that I thought I was gonna get, but that's okay. Wanted to read more of his stuff, and this is the one that everybody always talks about, so we'll see after this one if I read any others. So those are my two new Kazuo Ishiguro books. I do have one of his other books. I think it's at my parents' house, so I'll have to get that one. I feel like when I have an author I love, like I want to read all of their books, which makes sense because you like trust their writing, you know? This is making me so excited about reading more books. It's so fun. Okay, next book, which I didn't realize was a library copy. I wonder if I could take this plastic I definitely could. I know how they put these on. It's from the Tulsa Library. This book is by Tough Room, who wrote A Woman Is No Man, which I read about a month ago, and I loved it so much. I thought the writing was really, really good. I have heard good things about this book as well, so I'm excited to read this one. We'll see if I can get this library jacket off. If not, it's not a huge deal, but that's why I chose to add this one to my cart. In the historical fiction theme, if you've seen any of my videos recently and you know me, you know that I love historical fiction and have been getting back into it as an adult, and this is one that's been on my list forever. Like, it's one of the first 5 books that I put on my Goodreads TBR years ago, and I just have never picked it up. I know I'm gonna love it, so I wanted to get a copy of it. I feel like with these books that have been on my TBR for a while, it helps me, like, motivates me a little bit more if I own the copy, because then I'm like obliged to read it because I spent money on it. Another historical fiction book is The Alice Network. This is by Kate Quinn, and I've read 2 of her books and 1 of her short stories, and I love her writing. She's like closest to Kristen Hanna that I've read. If you love Kristen Hanna, I would really recommend her books. They're about like women's untold stories in history, and she just creates such individual, like, her characters have such personality. So I've had this one on my list for a long time. It's about spies. This reminds me a little bit of the Rose Code, which I loved. So I think I'm gonna love this one. Then here is my copy of People We Meet on Vacation. This is also a library copy. This one's my least favorite Emily Henry, but I want to reread it before the movie comes out, so keeping this one on the back burner. And then a couple more books I got that I love. This is Black Cake. I loved this book so much when I read it, and I recently read Good Dirt, which was her newest release, and I was obsessed with that book, so it made me want to revisit Black Cake. I'm just like curious how I would feel about it now a few years later. I think I would love it just as much. And I never ended up watching the show that came out for this, but I would love to reread this one and just to have a copy of this to loan out to people. This is like a family mystery story. So good. She's such a talented author. Then I got A Tale for the Time Being, which is, this one is in beautiful condition. I think this one is brand new, which is amazing. I loved this book so much. I had a copy of it and I lent it out like 2 years ago, and I don't think that I will be getting it back. So I wanted to get another copy of my own, put it right next to my other Ruth Ozeki book that I love. This is such a genius book about like life and sort of the space and time continuum. So amazing. Another one I would love to reread. I feel like I have so many books that I want to reread, like some of my favorite books ever, but there's so many books that I also want to read, and there's not enough time to do both. I don't know, someday I'll be able to reread some books. The next book I got is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. This one's on my top TBR for the year, and this is another book that I've had on my TBR. It's one of the first books on my Goodreads TBR. I think I'm really gonna like this one, so I wanted to get my own copy of it, and also, again, to motivate me to pick it up. All right, last 2 books. This one is Migrations, which is Charlotte McConaughey's other book. So now I have all 3 of her books. I'm so excited to read this one. After reading Wild Dark Shore, I just like need more of her writing. She's so talented at the atmosphere building, character building, like really bringing you to the place. This one is set in Antarctica. I think it's about a researcher. And then the last book I got, which is also a book that I've already read and did own, but I lent that one out over a year ago, and I also don't think I will be getting that one back, which is fine because that was also a used copy, and the person I lent it out to, I'm pretty sure, will really enjoy it. So if they can keep it and they love it, that's fine. But I needed to have a copy of it because this is another one of my favorite books in the whole wide world, and I would love to revisit it. And just so buttery. It's about these 2 people. It's just a story about life and love, but it's written in such a beautiful way. And his other book, Small World, I have up on my shelf here. I also loved so much. He's such a talented author. I wish that he wrote books faster, but I feel like with these authors that write books slowly, that's why they're better and why I enjoy them more. So excited to read more from him, but in the meantime, I will just have to revisit his old work. So with that, those are all the books I got for my bookshelf. I'm so excited about this new space, about all these new books. I wish I could just quit my job and read books and be paid to read books. So if anybody wants to hook me up with that situation, let me know. That's my dream, but in the meantime, I will just have to read them a little bit slower. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more videos from me. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.